Yes! Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to the very first episode of 2025. Happy New Year, my beautiful friends. I hope your year is off to an incredible start. It's not as happy as we would like it to be. We had a little terror attack that popped up in New Orleans, not little actually at all, 10 people dead and maybe counting. We're going to talk about that. We're going to save that for the second segment because we do have a lot of reasons to be excited and grateful for what is to come. We're going to poke around today, see what Trump was doing over there at Mar-a-Lago because he was there, Elon was there, his little one was there playing the bongos on Elon's brain, which is dangerous. We want to preserve those brain cells. We also have more from Melania, and Trump actually spoke. He gave some questions, answers to some questions when he was out and about ringing in the new year. We've also got the terror attack that took place in New Orleans. And so we'll go through that because we now have an identity. There is a name that is being reported, and we're trying to ascertain what the motive is here. We had an indication that there may have been a flagpole on the back of the guy's car, and some strange things are happening. And simultaneously with that, a Cybertruck pulled in front of Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, where we had our meetup over the summer, where we were there live streaming the debate from Trump Hotel ensconced in Trumpiness. Well, a Cybertruck got lit on fire right in front of the entrance. And people are wondering if this has any relation to the other terror attack, or if this is just a coincidence that Elon's vehicle would be lit on fire or burst into flames randomly. We'll see. So I've got video footage of that. It's pretty surreal. We'll talk about that. Lots of reaction on the terror attack. So the White House responded, Joe Biden responded, FBI came out, responded. We'll get through the updates. We'll see what's happening there. And then we'll round out the day talking about the House of Representatives and this battle, because January 3rd, 2 days from today, since it's 2025, we are going to see whether we have a new speaker. And there are a couple of people who are holding out on this thing, saying that they're not voting for Johnson no matter what. We've got Thomas Massie saying it's not happening, and Chip Roy also saying it's not happening. And so we're going to see what happens, because the House is basically stalled, according to most analysis. There are some people who say maybe they can do something, but they've all got to agree to do something. And I don't know why the Democrats would agree with the Republicans for a temporary speaker, but we'll come back to that. But if they don't have a speaker very soon, then there's nobody to count the electoral votes on January 6th, and the clock is ticking. So we'll talk about that battle. I've got a bunch of clips. Chip Roy was out. Thomas Massie's going nuclear on X. And there's a lot to unpack there. And so, my friends, it is a beautiful 2025. Happy New Year. I hope your ceremony welcoming in the new year was amazing. We went down to the town square last night and we saw the boot drop. It wasn't a ball, it was a boot down here in Prescott, Arizona. So it was a ton of fun, had the family out, and it was just great. So I hope yours was also amazing. We're very excited for 2025 and all the things to come. One of the first things that we're going to be doing here in 2025 is an inauguration watch party in person. And so I invite you to come out to Arizona, come to Scottsdale, January 20th, 2025, just a few short 19 days away, until we have the inauguration of President Trump. We're very excited about this. We're going to be watching it in person. We have secured an amazing venue. We're going to have a catered brunch/lunch, and it's going to be a ton of fun. So the venue's amazing. I've been there several times. I actually gave a presentation there one time, and it was a ton of fun. They have this huge video wall, and so we're going to put El Presidente right up there, and we're going to watch it. We're going to mix and mingle. I'm going to invite some cool people. Hopefully they come, and we want to see you in person. Also, if you don't want to just come for this one-day event to watch the inauguration, there's also Barrett Jackson that's happening in Arizona. A lot of people love that. It's going to be jamming in this area of town. So get your tickets. Go to watcherlodge.com, watcherlodge.com, and you can join us for this event. You got to buy a ticket Going to cover your admission and cost of food, and then just mix and mingle. It's going to be a ton of fun. So come join us. People are already signing up. Oh, and there was a note. People are asking, how can I buy a second ticket for like my spouse or significant other? The best way to do it would be to have them come and create their own account and buy their ticket. That way they have a profile. That way they can get access to the chat and to the posts and all the other things that will be associated with our watch party event. That would be the best way to do it. I know that may not be possible for some people, but try that, and then I'll work on an alternative solution if they don't want to do all of that stuff. So I got to work on that. I'll work on that though. But we're going to be selling these tickets until about the 15th. Then I got to get the catering orders submitted, and we want to see you there. All right, so thanks for joining us. Inauguration Watch Party, January 20th, Scottsdale, Arizona. Be there. All right. So we've got other business to attend to now, my friends. And we're starting off with the happy stuff first before we talk about terror and death. So here is where we are. Happy New Year, my friends. 2025 coming in with a bang. Melania and Trump walking down the red carpet. This is the scene with the president incoming and the first lady incoming again. Trump was jamming out there with Elon, and even others were there. Let's watch this as the new couple who's going back to the White House emerges. All right, looking good. So Trump actually took some questions for a little bit. Melania was there. You can see Don Jr. was also there. We got Elon is in tow. Looks like a very nice party there that was happening there. So there's more. Here was Don King. He was even showing up there. Look. Look at that outfit. Looking good, man. Ringing in the new year. Amazing. So people are rolling into Mar-a-Lago, and you can see it was a ton of fun. Even inside, they were dancing. Now, Elon and his son was on top playing the bongos on his brain, hopefully not disintegrating too many brain cells because we got to go to Mars. Hey, that's Tom Petty too. Tom Petty. And so, he's getting down on some Tom Petty. Playing the bongos on Elon's brain. All right, so Trump's there. You can see it was jamming. They were having a good time. Before Trump went in, he did take some questions from the press. Here's what that sounded like.
Happy New Year, Mr. President. First Lady, you look so beautiful today. And what a party you have here going on. Yes. It is. Apart from obviously winning the election, what are some other highlights from 2024?
Well, we're just going to have a great nation again. We're going to bring it back to better than it ever was. I think we're going to see things and it's going to go fast. We're going to see some amazing things, but we're going to bring it back at a level that a lot of people didn't think was really possible. That's
all right. So hopefully he got a better angle there for us. There we go.
You're going to be very happy.
Have you got any New Year's resolutions for 2025?
Well, I just want everybody to be happy, healthy, and well. Thank you.
Yes. Happy, healthy, and well. Thank you, Mr. President. You too.
There are close reports that Biden regrets dropping out. He thinks he would have beat you. What do you say?
Well, he was way behind. He would have, I assume not had a chance. He was way behind her. And we wanted record numbers, as you know, on every swing state. won the popular vote by millions and millions of people. So, hey, look, I wish him well. He had a chance to do it in the debate, and that didn't work out too well for him. That was, I guess, the reason that really led to his downfall.
What are you looking forward to in 2025?
Well, just great, a great year. I think we're going to do fantastically well as a country. We're going to bring it back. It has to be brought back. People are not respecting our country very much, and they're going to respect us a lot. I think a lot of progress has been made over the last 5 weeks. It's been pretty amazing when you look at what's happened. There's a whole light over the whole world, not just our country. There are a lot of very happy people.
Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President.
Republicans who are still not supporting Speaker Johnson.
Say what?
What's your message to those Republicans who are still not supporting Speaker Johnson?
Oh, I think they'll support Speaker Johnson. I think we're going to have a great time in Washington, and I think we're going to get great support. He's the one that can win right now. People like him. Almost everybody likes him. Others are very good too, but they have 30 or 40 people that don't like him, so that's pretty tough.
Are you calling members on his behalf?
Are you lobbying members?
Well, if necessary, but I think really we're going to have a great time. We're going to get a successful vote. He's a good man. He's a wonderful person, and that's what you need.
Why'd you change your mind on H-1B visas, sir?
I didn't change my mind. I've always felt we have to have the most competent people in our country. We need competent people. We need smart people coming into our country. And we need a lot of people coming in. We're going to have jobs like we've never had before.
But sir, you said you changed your position. Do you plan to go to the Carter funeral next week?
That was his position on H-1B, and he said he's never changed his mind. And he didn't really engage in this issue, which was very interesting. He kind of just let it bubble up and move on. And there was a big fury around it. But Trump takes a very short question, points it out, moves on, says we've always wanted competent people here, and puts that one to bed. We'll see.
Say it.
Do you plan to go to President Carter's
I
funeral?
do. I'll be there. We were invited.
Have you spoken with any Carter family members?
I'd rather not say.
Have you spoken to President?
Are you and your nominees?
Well, I think we have great nominees. We're doing very well, as you know. I think most of them are being thought of very highly, just about all of them. So I think we're going to do very well.
Have you spoken? You said that he said he's eager to meet with you. Are you planning a meeting with him?
Well, I don't know. There's a traditional meeting. Some people would say we already had that. You know, we met a week and a half ago. But if it's appropriate, I'd like to do that. Yeah.
Any new thoughts on Ukraine and the situation there? Do you intend
No,
to?
it's a shame. The whole thing would have never started if I were president. You wouldn't have Ukraine.
$6 billion
You wouldn't have
just went over there.
Russia problems. You wouldn't have had the Israeli problem with what happened on October 7th was just a horrible thing. All of the things. You wouldn't have inflation. Inflation was a disaster. One of the reasons we had the country, we won the country by the kind of numbers we won by, which were record-setting numbers. All of these things, and then you take a look at all of the other problems that they caused. The problems that they caused in this country, and specifically Iran on the border. Millions and millions of people that flowed through our border, from prisons, from mental institutions, people that should not be in our country. And you see the crime numbers, they're going through the roof. Look at New York City, look at Chicago, look at Los Angeles.
And New
They're going
Orleans.
through the roof. We're going to get them out. We're going to get them out fast. Thank you.
What's
very
your
much.
message to Puerto Rico,
Mr.
sir?
Netanyahu about a ceasefire deal. You said if they don't have one by the time you take office, there will be hell to pay.
We're going to see what happens.
Have you spoken with him about it, Mr. President? Do you have too much
They better let the hostages come back soon.
There's Trump. There's Melania. Both them look and sound amazing. And I think we should have that band just follow the president around everywhere he goes and just play. I mean, it's epic, right? Just constantly. Louder, louder. Bump it up. I have something important to say. Turn it up. And just have that constantly going. It's a nice vibe. All right, so America has a new couple who is the former couple who should have been the current couple, but that's okay. They're now going to be the incoming couple back in the White House. Trump looks very rested, competent, answered a bunch of questions, more than we've heard from Joe Biden in the last 3 weeks in 5 minutes. So that's the president. Now, he also hopped on stage and gave a little bit of a talk during the actual presentation inside. Here was what the president said.
Are here with me and friends of mine. Thank you, and to Melania, my family. We're all here tonight. We want to thank you all very much. It's a great honor, and we're going to do a great job as the president. We're going to do a great job. We're going to turn this Very, very special people, tremendous friends. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. So it looks like it was a fun party inside. Meanwhile, elsewhere out in Times Square in New York City, we had the same folks I think we saw last year, Anderson, getting hammered on camera. Some very strange things happened on this conversation, but there were also other excerpts. Though this guy says, I'm not going to drink on this show with you alcoholics. I'll get fired. And then we had Whitney Cummings come out and blast CNN in a couple of different clips. And we'll play some of those because Cooper got slammed right to his face. Now, here is what the alcohol consumption looked like over on CNN.
Project 2025 has begun.
We should do a toast.
Yes, so can we do a toast? I mean, we did one off camera, but it doesn't count if it's off camera.
Yes, nothing happens.
No,
if
it doesn't happen on camera, it doesn't happen.
Yes.
I have to say, that was really beautiful.
It was nice.
And I kept my phone down the whole time and experienced it. And basically what happens is they do the countdown and then they flip it right into New York, New York. Which,
Wow.
let me tell you something.
Wow.
It's just the greatest.
Wow. Wow.
Here we go.
All right. I mean,
all right, here we go.
This is necessary.
Wow,
but,
it is.
Yeah.
Cheers. Hey, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the love. And I hope 2025 is everything
I'm
you
really
want
hoping
it
we
to
don't
be.
get fired.
Well, sweetie, I don't think you're going to get fired.
Well,
I think you're good.
I got a contract.
I'm going back
Maybe
to
you'll be
Bravo.
fired.
Well, I'm going back to Bravo. That's cool. Bravo, here I come. New season of the Housewives of Atlanta coming up.
Oh, please.
Amazing stuff coming up. All right.
Like we haven't plugged you.
Whatever.
Wow.
I mean, the mayor's still running around.
Enough. No.
I really.
Kindness in 2025. Kindness.
He's indicted.
Be kind.
They're like a drunk, bitter couple.
Yes.
Be
I know
kind.
the battle he's fighting.
Because
a
everybody
bunch of
is
indictments.
fighting
That's what
it.
he's
Are they in a
fighting.
relationship together?
Dial it down. Bring it into the new year right. All right.
Okay, well, let's toast.
We don't want to wake up in the morning with Ajita.
With Ajita?
With Ajita checking,
I'm gonna wake up with
checking X
Ajita,
or Twitter or
yes.
whatever.
Are they together? I really don't know.
It's
I have
gonna
no idea.
wake me up
Yes.
very early.
My son's going to wake me up at 6
No, me too.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go home and I'm going to go into to Wyatt's room and I'm going to go to sleep in Wyatt's room.
Well, guess
tonight.
what? Before that, we're gonna go crash Patty Lupone's New Year's
well,
Eve party.
maybe we'll do that.
That's what we're doing.
All right, fine.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
All right.
Oh, gosh. This will be, I just want to say, this is the last drink I'm going to have of 2025.
Wow. Look at Richard
Until
Quest.
2026.
Look.
Okay, so that was what was happening on CNN yesterday. Now, they were getting hammered, I guess, so they were taking some more shots. They invited this black man to drink on the network, and he says, no way, man, because the last black man to drink on this network got fired. Only you two white dudes can drink on CNN. I don't know what's going on over at CNN, but apparently alcohol is segregated, separate but equal or something. I don't know.
Want a shot?
Would you like
What
to
is it?
start?
Yes. Tequila.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, all right.
So you have those shot glasses.
No, I don't. Keep talking and
I
you're
do.
gonna
I
have
got the
to.
here.
The last black man to drink on this network got fired. I'm going to keep you with water for right now.
Are you live
need some
streaming
stability.
on your Instagram? I love it.
Wow.
Who was that? Don Lemon, the last black man who drank on this network, got fired. Oh, incredible. Okay, so comedian then Whitney Cummings, she came out and she starts getting into a conversation with them as their coverage continues.
I love going around the country because you see that Americans really are more reasonable than they would be portrayed. They're pretty great, and I'm playing bigger and bigger venues now. I thought being a mom would mean that less people would want to come see me. I'm now playing, like 3,000 seat theaters,
awesome.
which is about the viewership of CNN these days.
Nice.
This show, though.
Nice.
All eyes are on this show.
Wow, you're all
You know,
firing today.
Andy and I had a tour. We did like
I
3,000
remember.
people. Yes.
Amazing. So, yeah, 3,000 seat theaters, kind of like your show. Anderson, Here's another one from Whitney Cummings.
Documentaries finally realized the only way to make money is to just make them about cheerleaders. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleader doc showed the girls being treated horribly, underpaid, crying. I thought I'd open a video on Hunter Biden's laptop. Ooh. This is the year everyone hated the movie The Joker, but if you do love watching men descend into insanity, in a couple hours you get to watch Andy Cohen do the countdown.
Oh! Roasting them right to their faces. Good for her. All right, here's another one. And, oh yeah, here's one talking about being brought to you by Pfizer.
2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright.
Joe.
Are we still rolling? Am I off?
Go for it.
It was amazing that the pro-choice party didn't give their voters one when it came to the presidential candidate. Kamala was forced on us so hard you'd think she was patented by Pfizer or Moderna, whichever one's... Oh, God. Andy just gave me a very scary look.
No!
He's like, what? We're going to lose our sponsors. Stop. You can't rip on Pfizer. We're going to lose our sponsors. Here's another one.
Let me be clear, though. 2024 was not only negative. The media wants us to believe this country is so divided, but we actually came together a lot this year. Like, as a nation, we unanimously agreed that we would rather see J-Lo in a toxic relationship than in concert. We all agree the government totally knows what drones are and are telling us. The drones are still up there, and we have no idea what's behind them.
True.
No idea. I mean, they're still up in the sky, so I guess we can rule out that they were made by Boeing. The point is, I think we all agree on a lot of things.
Good for her. So that was fun. Here, I think, is one more, and Whitney Cummings delivers.
I only have a minute left live on Establishment Media. Why don't we just say a bunch of things that we know that they'll never cover? Okay, ready, go. Trump shooter didn't have any silverware in his house. No one thought that was weird? Are we still rolling? Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia put money into Disney, so just know there won't be any girl characters in the next Cars movie. Are we still rolling? This is wild.
She's like, I can't believe I get to say this on CNN. So shout out to Whitney Cummings for delivering the ruckus right to Anderson and the other dude's face. Here is what was happening inside. You can see Trump and Melania dancing the night away to a little YMCA fun. And Melania is looking like she's jamming. It's nice to see Melania out and about having a good time. So there was a lot happening there in Florida and in New York, but also on the Capitol. Lightning struck the Capitol on New Year's Eve. Maybe this was God's message from MAGA. Here is maybe some footage. Is that Washington? All right, well, there's something going on. Here's what the report says. Donald Trump and his supporters on social media speculated over whether there was a divine message being sent after lightning strikes reportedly hit the U.S. Capitol building and the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., and the World Trade Center and the Empire State Building. Footage and images shared online purportedly showed all four buildings being struck as revelers gathered across the United States for New Year's. Speculation that this is God speaking out. Here's what AF Post said. The Washington Monument, Capitol Building, State Building, they were all struck by lightning on New Year's. Here is perhaps the Post. If this one will open. All right. Doesn't look like it will. All right. So Christian Ziegler, another Trump supporter and former Republican National Convention delegate, shared the Capitol Hill footage. There this one is. Whoa. Look at that. Boom! Stop ripping off America. Okay? Stop ripping off America. The post was widely shared, receiving more than 440,000 views on the platform. Jack Posobiec's talking about it. Newsweek reporting Mike Lee's talking about it. Feels like there's an omen. Feels like it's a message from on high. So that is good news for, I think, the Republican Party, sending a message to the elected officials. Here are a couple more clips. You can see right there. Boom. Here's one more. One World Trade Center got hit right there. And then here is the Washington Monument. Man, all across America. Boom! Very interesting. 2025 is going to be lit. All right. So that is the update from the New Year's Eve details. And things were jamming there. But things were not all happy and celebratory everywhere. We also had a terror attack. And we now know the name. The suspect identified in the New Orleans terror attack is named Shamsud Din Bahar Jabbar. This is being reported from several news entities, including the New York Times. They have a bunch of updates for us on what happened. Also being confirmed by Tom Winter, being reported from Julia Candelanian over at NBC, saying 3 senior law enforcement officials briefed on the matter say they have preliminarily identified the suspect in the vehicle ramming and killing 10 people, maybe in counting, injuring dozens more, as Shamsud Din Jabbar, date of birth 10/26/82. And so we're learning more about this, and things are breaking as we speak. But we've also seen some interesting photographs that have been published. Phil Holloway, who is a Fox News contributor and an awesome attorney also on YouTube and on X, was sharing this, saying he was joining Fox News today to talk about this and sharing this photo that's been shared all over the place that seemingly shows this little pole that is poking out the hitch of the truck that looks like it might be a flagpole. And people are asking, what is that? There's been various videos spread around the internet, and some people saying that was not on there. Some people saying it was attached. We're still asking questions about it. Was this tied up? Is this being covered? Because some people are noticing black flags that have white symbols on them look like this, white writing, which means it might be an ISIS flag. And we've been asking the question, are there terrorists inside the country? Because our borders have been wide open for the last 4 years. In fact, we've been flying people in, and nobody has been keeping tabs on national security. So here you can see this is a rumor being speculated. Maybe that little white marking on the flag is something ISIS related. It was maybe flying as the vehicle was coming in and it was wrapped up. Don't know. There are other videos out there, which I can't verify their authenticity, that show that there is no flagpole on the back of it. But others are responding to those videos saying that's not accurate. So a lot of information still in the fog of war right now. What we've got some statements from the FBI and from the White House. Here's what the FBI said. This morning, an individual drove a car into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, killing a number of people and injuring dozens of others. The subject then engaged with law enforcement and is now deceased. Engaged with firearms. The FBI is the lead investigative agency on this, and we are working with our partners to investigate this as an act of terrorism. So that's from FBI official. And the White House has also published a statement, but that doesn't mean much because the statement is coming from Joe Biden. Says, this is Joe, I have been continually briefed since early this morning by federal law enforcement leadership and my Homeland Security team, including Ali Mayorkas. Ali Alejandro, is he changing his name? Is he shortening it like Diddy? That's weird. Ali? It's Alejandro. Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco, one of the most corrupt people in the DOJ for the time being, White House Homeland Security Advisor Liz Sherwood Randall, and the mayor of New Orleans regarding the horrific incident that occurred there overnight. The FBI has taken the lead in the investigation and is investigating this incident as an act of terrorism. I'm grateful for the brave and swift response of local law enforcement in preventing even greater death and injury. I have directed my team to ensure every resource is available as federal, state, local law enforcement work assiduously to get to the bottom of what happened as quickly as possible and to ensure that there is no remaining threat of any kind. I will continue, says Joe, to receive updates throughout the day, and I will have more to say as we have further information to share. In the meantime, my heart goes out to the victims and their families who are simply trying to celebrate this holiday. There is no justification for violence of any kind, and we will not tolerate any attack on any of our nation's communities. And that's from the president. Now, more updates here from the New York Times. They tell us Mayor Karen Bass of LA is also going to be keeping a vigilant eye on other events today, the Rose Parade, and the Rose Bowl game later on today. A street security system that was actually protecting this place was under construction at the time. So would have been nice if that was done. The FBI 3 minutes ago said in a statement that the suspect was a U.S. citizen from Texas. He was driving a Ford pickup truck that appeared to have been rented. Now keep this in mind because there's also a Cybertruck that just caught fire outside of Trump's hotel in Las Vegas. He was driving a Ford. Investigators are working to determine how the suspect got the vehicle. They say also an Islamic State flag 3 minutes ago and a weapons and a potential IED were found in the vehicle. There it is. Look at that. So the internet was even ahead of the media. Says we were also located in the French Quarter. Other potential bombs were also located in the French Quarter. So looks like an ISIS flag. Investigators were working to determine the suspect's potential associations and affiliations with terror organizations as of 3 minutes ago. Incredible. So investigators are examining what appeared to be a furled Islamic State flag that was found on the vehicle used in the attacks, according to law enforcement officials who spoke on condition of anonymity. And that was that speculation was accurate. Photos show the crashed truck. This was the direction of the truck. And the footage is horrific. And we pause and pray for the families and everybody who's lost someone today. Absolutely horrific. And we pray for them. Direction of the truck. Some bodies are visible in the video and a lot of people are injured. This is the area of attack in New Orleans. If you've been there, people reporting like it was something out of a horror movie. And many of you may have been out on the streets. We were out in the middle of the streets. They were closed down, but you know, this is something that could happen anywhere. We know what happened recently in Germany. Local records in Texas show that the suspect was in New Orleans. He was charged many years ago in 2 minor crimes. In 2002, he was arrested in Texas for theft, misdemeanor. 3 years later, he was arrested by Beaumont police for driving with an invalid license, also a misdemeanor. The NFL, which is scheduled to hold the Super Bowl in New Orleans, deeply saddened by the attack. They're investigating the attack as terrorism because certainly appears to be that, especially if you have an ISIS flag there. The FBI has a broad definition of 2 kinds of terrorism, international terrorism and others. In the immediate aftermath, there was some public confusion over whether it was a terror attack. The mayor of New Orleans at first said it was, but a local FBI official countered that it was not because the FBI is incompetent. Attorney General Merrick Garland and the FBI then came out and said that they were in fact investigating the incident as terrorism. And I do believe I have those clips here because there was a back and forth on this. And I think here was one response immediately after the event took place. This is Mayor LaToya Cantrell. She's saying she's been talking to the White House, and this is what she said this morning.
Well, we do know that the city of New Orleans was impacted by a terrorist attack. It's all still under investigation. You'll hear more after me. However, I have been in direct contact with the White House, with Governor Landry, and of course a unified command who is present here. What I'm asking at this time are prayers for those who have lost their lives in the city of New Orleans due to this tragedy. In addition to that, I'm asking the public to stay clear of 8 blocks around Bourbon Street. Stay clear from Bourbon Street, 8 blocks around. Very active, and again, a unified command is in place right now. I'm going to ask Chief Kirkpatrick to give you an update. You're then going to hear from our agent in charge relative to the FBI.
All right, so that was just one short statement. There was another statement from another individual who is this person. Here's what they said.
In order to conduct this, he was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did. Because of the nature and the indices that we have on the scene, and we have enough information that the FBI will be taking over this investigation. And with that, I am going to be asking, this is the Assistant agent in charge. This is Agent Duncan, Special Agent Duncan, and she has taken over this case on behalf of us and the FBI. As always, we will be in partnership with all of our partners. But Agent Duncan, if you want to have a few words for everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning. My name is Alethea Duncan. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge for FBI New Orleans. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if this is a viable device or not. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we're asking everyone to stay away from Bourbon Street, specifically from Canal Street to St. Anne. That is my ask. Once again, stay away from Bourbon Street, Canal Street, all the way to St. Anne until we can figure out what is going on. Our goal is to provide you additional information at the 11 a.m. press conference. Thank you so much, and we will be in touch.
Yes. I will say that we want our community and our visitors to continue enjoying. There's so much to enjoy about New Orleans, and we are going to make sure that our routes in the Superdome are safe today for the game. And yet we had this tragic event.
Just give us a few minutes to clean up the bodies, and then it'll be safe again.
In our community. But we do want you to
not
go
a terrorist
about
attack,
day,
though, either.
As we say, just stay away from Bourbon. Okay?
Can you elaborate on the device? You did say something about the device.
We actually are not going to be taking questions this morning until we have more information. That's why we will give you an 11 o'clock.
Well, how about we ask the FBI?
Until then,
since it's their
please
case.
Hold your questions. We will give you everything that we possibly can, okay? So 11 o'clock, we will see you at the headquarters, and we will go again from there, okay?
Chief, were the bullards engaged? Were the bullards engaged?
Right? The device is confirmed?
Thank you all. We will see you at 11 a.m.
All right, so the FBI comes out, like, definitely not terrorism, okay? So FBI, what did they add to that conversation? Stay away from Bourbon Street. She just repeated some directions, like she got them off MapQuest or something. All right, so that's what some of the confusion was. They did say, yeah, it was terrorism, or they're investigating it as terrorism. In the attack, a man drove a pickup truck into a crowd, New York revelers, Bourbon Street, 3:15 Wednesday. Multiple officials identify the guy, Shamsud Din Bahar Jabbar, age 42. FBI officials, who are typically cautious until they gather more statements, said Wednesday that as they learned more, particularly the discovery of a cooler containing an improvised bomb next to the suspect's vehicle, they became more certain it was terror. The combination of a truck used as a weapon along with the bomb led investigators to believe the goal was to cause additional deaths on civilians. Many elected officials and members of the public think that of terrorism primarily as a method of violence. But however, to investigators and prosecutors, motive or ideology is also important part of it, which is interesting. So it's like if you blow up a bunch of people, it's not terrorism unless you have a motive for doing it. You're like, I didn't have any motive. I just want to blow people up. Well, you're just a psychopath, not a terrorist. Got it. All right. So Governor Jeff Landry of Louisiana said the state officials were coordinating with the FBI, calling it fluid. We understand the concerns of the community, want to reassure everybody things are safe. Get out there. We got sports games coming up. Israel's foreign ministry said 2 Israeli citizens were wounded in the attack. Israeli officials were in touch with their families as well as with local hospitals. The ministry said in a statement without specifying how seriously they were injured. Probably have some Republicans come out and say they need a couple more $1 billion for that. Vehicles, but I do hope that they recover well, and I mean that. Vehicle ramming attacks using cars and trucks as weapons has become common. The dead suspect in the New Orleans attack has been identified as 42-year-old Shamsud. Karen Bass is talking about it. Kimberly Strickland and others. And her husband came to New Orleans from Mobile, Alabama for concerts. And of course, the whole thing is just terrible. So Biden was traveling back home. He was coming in from his vacation. And we got clips of him coming up. But shout out to these officers who responded this way. Somebody was watching this on EarthCam. And we love heroic cops who are trying to save lives and doing good work. Here is what it looked like when they got the call. Man, there's an attack underway. off to the races. Shout out, gentlemen. Thank you for that. All right, so it was going down, obviously, there last night. Horrific scene. Prayers for everybody involved. Hopefully there are quick recoveries. We got more updates here. Joe Biden was wandering around back in from his vacation. And here's what he said when people were asking him about his position.
Any more information you can offer?
You've all got my statement. I'll have more to say in the next hour or so following what's going on in New Orleans. I'll be happy to do that.
Do you understand if the person crossed the border?
I'm not going to comment on any specific yet at all. I've contacted every agency in the federal government as well as the state. They're all coordinating to get to the bare facts. We know what the facts are.
Can you say if he was a foreigner or if he was a domestic?
I'm not going to say anything until I get all the facts in front of me.
Has the suspect been identified? Has the suspect been identified?
Again, I'm not going to comment until I speak to the group later. I've spoken to every member of the agency, from the CIA to our national security team, to our FBI, NSC, and we're gathering all the, and I spent a lot of time with the government, with the mayor.
What was your reaction when you heard what happened?
Well, the reaction was one of anger and frustration. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Anger and frustration. Yeah. All right. So what, like 19 days? 19 days, that's it. Clock ticking down. And we're excited for it to go faster. All right, so that's Joe. And that was his statement. Now, something strange has also happened. Simultaneous to this, people were noticing that there was a smoldering Cybertruck that was in flames outside of Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, as you can see. This was reported from this individual. Jeffrey Miller says something just happened at Trump Tower in Las Vegas. Smoke seen rising from the parking area of Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. We were just there over the summer live streaming the debate from Trump Hotel, met Stephen Gardner and had a great time hanging out, hosting our own event at that hotel. So we were right there. People were parking inside that location this summer, hanging out with us. And here's what it looks like.
Oh my God. I heard that boom too, but I didn't know it was actually.
It was a boom?
It was a person in the hallway. Holy shit.
Yeah, could say that again. All right, so something smoldering there.
That's a lot of smoke.
Let's fast forward here. You can see the smoke's kind of clearing out a little bit.
That is
A lot of smoke. Now, on the other side of this, here's what it looked like from inside the lobby of Trump Hotel. And it's very interestingly placed right out front. Okay, that is the main entrance. So somebody pulled up a Cybertruck. I have a hard time believing that that thing just spontaneously combusted and had a battery problem or something right there. More likely than not, if that other dude, if I had to guess, if that other dude was renting his Ford pickup truck and then driving that through a bunch of people, why wouldn't somebody else rent a Cybertruck, post it right in front of Trump Hotel, and then blow it up when Elon was hanging at Mar-a-Lago with Trump the night before? Interesting coincidence. Or not. Are those other explosives going off, or are those battery cells exploding?
the battery blew, I think.
So who knows if that is anything to be concerned about? Maybe somebody just had some New Year's fireworks and a lit cigarette and the whole thing just went haywire. Who knows? Like in the movies. Sounded like some of those whistle fireworks. Right? What was that? I heard those last night, but not in a Cybertruck, not in front of Trump Hotel. So maybe it's a coincidence. Feels like it's a message. If it's right in front, it's parked right there, then it explodes. Feels like it is an intentional message. It's a Cybertruck. It's at Trump Hotel. It's parked right in front. It's blowing up randomly. Feels like there's a little bit more there than just a coincidence. So strange things are happening. 2024 was lit. 2025 already off to a wild start and a mournful start in many ways. We're asking what is going to be happening elsewhere. In Washington, D.C., Mayor Muriel Bowser has said that she has met with President Trump. She posted this on the 30th, said that she met with Trump. And Mayor Muriel Bowser was the same mayor who rejected the National Guard when Trump said they were going to send them the last time. But now her tune is changing a bit. She said, "Today, President Trump and I had a great meeting to discuss our shared priorities for the president's second term. Trump and I both want D.C. to be the best, most beautiful city in the world. We want the capital city to reflect the strength of our nation. We discussed areas for collaboration between the local and the feds, especially around the federal workforce, underutilized buildings, parks, green spaces, infrastructure. I'm optimistic that we'll continue to find common ground with the president during the second term. We look forward to supporting a successful inauguration on January 20th. And so as all this stuff is happening, we're asking about the inauguration and whether anything strange is going to happen on January 6th, January 20th, or in the immediate aftermath. And in all likelihood, the answer is yes, right? These are interesting times. Our country has been wide open, filled with criminals and people within our own government who are ransacking everything. So times are precarious. We are praying for the people who we lost in this horrific attack. And of course, we want safety and prosperity in 2025. So we'll keep our eye on this story. Thank you for subscribing and joining as we do. All right. And now, my friends, we got one final segment and update on the day. And this is an important one. The clock is ticking on this one. Mike Johnson is in for the fight of his life. Running for speaker again. The last time he became the speaker, it was only after a long battle, and he became the consensus candidate. But a lot of people are not happy with him at all. And people like Chip Roy and Thomas Massie are indicating that they will not be voting for Mike Johnson. Now, the problem with this is Mike Johnson, if we do not have a speaker on January 3rd or 4th or 5th, then the House arguably cannot count the electoral votes on the 6th because you can't do anything without a speaker. That's the first order of business. And other speaker races took a lot longer than 3 days to elect a speaker. And the Democrats are not going to be helping the Republicans. So how does the math add up? Just the News says it's going to be difficult. The House elections returned a narrow Republican majority, and now it's only 220 seats. And other people are not going to be in positions of power, and so we'll skip the math, but it's a very tight margin. They say some people like Trump are endorsing Mike Johnson, but others are not. Massie, Victoria Spars, and others are saying not going to happen. Here's what Thomas Massie said. Trump came out and endorsed Mike Johnson, but Johnson doesn't have Massie's support. He says, look, I respect and support President Trump, but his endorsement of Mike Johnson is going to work out as well as his endorsement of Paul Ryan. We've seen Johnson partner with the Democrats to spend and send money to Ukraine, authorize spying on Americans, and blow the budget. And now you want to put him back in power? You can see there was a battle over this that has been taking place between Newt Gingrich as well. Gingrich came out and says, look, I don't understand this. Massie, what the contrarian House Republicans think that they're going to gain by opposing Johnson. They have no one who can get more votes. They risk crippling Trump's electoral win on January 6th. They're in effect allies of Democrats. I challenge them to explain what their end game is other than noise. And Thomas Massie responded. He said, okay, hey, Newt, guess what? Challenge accepted. First, let me note that the vote for Mike camp is not trying to make the case that Mike Johnson is endowed with qualities necessary to lead our conference. Even if you've limited yourself here to procedural justifications for his speakership rather than telling us why he is a good or capable leader. And that's kind of been where we've landed on this. Like Mike Johnson, we are not a fan of many of his policies or what he tried to do with that last spending attempt or his instant money for foreign countries over Americans. We're not happy about any of that. But we also don't want a Democrat speaker because that would be much worse. So I think that has been mostly the equation we've been operating under. He's not our favorite, but he is the only guy that we've got essentially. So who else are we going to pick? So even if Mike's entire goal, says Thomas Massie, Mike Johnson, is to do everything Trump wants without debate or question, which I would argue is not healthy for Congress, he's not going to even be good at it. He already demonstrated this month that he won't tell the president what is achievable and what is not achievable in the House, and he lacks the situational awareness himself to know what can pass and what cannot. What do we hope to gain, you ask, Newt? A competent speaker who has the will and the ability to capitalize on this once-in-a-decade opportunity. Okay, Johnson's not up to the task. Also, we want a speaker who inspires the public and who can make our case in the media so we can keep the majority for the second half of Trump's term. Johnson nearly led us to the minority in what was a banner year for Trump. He's going to lose us the majority in 26. Newt said, no one can get more votes. Massie responds, it's somewhat ridiculous to assert that Mike Johnson is the only member of Congress electable to speaker. He was only electable the first time because he hadn't held any type of leadership position, nor had he ever fought for anything, so no one disliked him, and everyone was tired of voting. He won by being the least objectionable candidate, and he no longer possesses that title. You also say that we risk crippling Trump's win. He says, oh, come on, this argument's a scare tactic, meant to stampede the masses, plain and simple. There's no legal or parliamentary argument for nullifying the national election if a speaker is not in place on January 6th. That's our other concern. Well, a lot of the analysis that we've read, and as we know, Congress can basically do whatever it wants, right? They set their own rules and then they break them all the time. Just look at HR 503 with the J6 committee. They do whatever they want. The courts don't care. They say separation of powers, so do whatever. So who knows what's going to happen? I mean, quite frankly, he says there's no argument for nullifying the election. So are they going to then have a pro tem temporary speaker? And do the Democrats need to get on board or do the Republicans need to be on board? So we'd like some more meat on those bones. But they are also, number 4, they're also allies of Democrats. He says, you know what? No, I'm not. Actually, it is Mike Johnson who routinely passes major legislation like Ukraine, Omnibus, FISA. I forgot about that from Mike. With only a minority of Republicans, and remember Mike came out, he said, well, I was opposed to it, but then I talked to somebody at the CIA and now I'm for FISA. Here's the roll call for the motion to table the motion to vacate last summer. Pelosi and Jeffries teamed up to save Johnson. Now, in closing, the emperor has no clothes. The entire conference knows it. No one's going to say it. The general public knows it too. Don't shoot the messengers. We're not voting for Johnson. He's terrible. So you can see. He also pointed this out, and this was one that made our blood boil. Said, let's pause to remember this moment in Congress when Mike Johnson gave the Democrats the billions of dollars they wanted for Ukraine. Remember that? The House Sergeant at Arms threatened to fine me for sharing this video. That same man still works for Mike Johnson. So here you go. Look at that. In America. That's our Congress. These total scammers. Sending money to Ukraine, waving foreign flags in the halls of Congress. Sick. All right, so you can see why Thomas Massie's upset, and I can empathize wholeheartedly with it. He also said, remember Paul Ryan, who was terrible? Yeah, we don't want to do that again either, and said that other votes may be difficult to get. Someone said, right now, I don't believe he has the votes on Friday when it's time to vote for Johnson. Republicans are hoping to avoid the leadership chaos that happened previously. Historically, a small GOP majority means that Johnson can only afford a single Republican defection. Democrats have signaled they're not going to help him at all, but he's got a lot of people who are not on board. Andy Harris of Maryland, Andy Biggs, Arizona, Victoria Spartz, Indiana, Thomas Massie in Kentucky, and Chip Roy. Chip Roy had this fiery exchange explaining he may not be on board either and talking about some alternatives. Here is Chip Roy.
Is Mr. Johnson going to have the support to keep his role as Speaker? What do you think?
Well, good morning, Ashley, and Happy New Year to all the listeners and viewers out there.
Same to you.
Look, Victoria's a good friend, and Thomas is a good friend, and they raise reasonable concern. I remain undecided, as do a number of my colleagues, because we saw so many of the failures last year that we are concerned about that might limit or inhibit our ability to advance the president's agenda. I respect, like Thomas, that President Trump supports Mike. I like Mike. He's a good friend. But let's consider what happened the week before Christmas. We violated the 72-hour rule twice, which means we didn't have time to read a bill. We had to have Elon and Vivek and the president and JD come in to kill a 1,500-page monstrosity to cut it down to 100 pages. It still spent $110 billion unpaid for. And do my colleagues say, oh, but that's all just discretionary spending? We also passed $200 billion that is taking money out of Social Security to transfer it, which will hasten the bankruptcy of Social Security by 6 months. That was all the week before Christmas, Ashley. That's a problem. That's not how we should do business. We racked up $300 billion of additional deficit spending after the election. We spent $1.7 trillion last year with more Democrat votes than Republican votes. We gave another $61 billion to Ukraine. My friend Victoria, she's from Ukraine. She has a heart for the Ukrainians, but she understands giving $61 billion to Ukraine after Mike Johnson promised to secure the border first. That's a problem. So we need to have a plan before January 3rd. The speaker needs to speak to it if he wants to have all of our support.
Yeah, and I have to follow up at this point, Congressman. Does he have that support or not?
Yeah, right now I don't believe that he has the votes on Friday, and I think we need to have the conference get together so that we can get united. And people say, well, Chip, who would you choose otherwise? There are a lot of great members of Congress. Mike's a friend, and maybe he can answer the call and he can deliver an agenda and a plan. Byron Donalds is a good man and a good friend. I supported him. I nominated him 2 years ago. Jim Jordan's a good man and a good friend. There are other members of leadership in the conference who could do the job. But what we need to do is unite around him.
I think the problem with Byron Donalds is that he's too young, and there's a bunch of other older Congress people who are like, I've been here forever. And, you don't get to just become speaker without working your way up through leadership. You got to run these committees for a long time and then be the chairman. And then you're like this natural heir to that position. But if you have another figure like a Byron Donalds who checks the right boxes, can we just accelerate that? Let's put a unifying leader in charge who can get everybody in line. I don't care how long they've been in Congress. So that sounds like a reasonable proposal.
A plan to deliver for the president. Right now, I do not believe the conference has that. The failure before Christmas, I cannot overstate, is a glimpse to come if we don't organize the conference to be able to deliver for the American people. We are not going to be able to bend on the things that matter. We must cut spending if you want inflation to go down and for people to afford to live in this country. We have to secure the border. We can't be going back and forth on that. We have to give the tools, Tom Homan, the president, Stephen Miller, to secure the border. And we've got to have the plans in place by Friday.
All right, so I'm skeptical on this for many reasons. I am not a fan of Mike Johnson. I'm not a fan of Democratic leadership. I don't want anything to interfere with J6 or the transition. And so we're stuck in a really hard place at the moment. And we'll see what Mike Johnson does, what the pressure of Trump can bring to this conversation. But if we get to Friday, which is 2 days from the date of this recording, and we do not have a consensus on a speaker, then we are going to be putting ourselves into that position where we end up where we were last time with McCarthy and those votes. And that dragged on for a number of days. So does that postpone us past January 6th? And does that cause more difficulty at the very outset of Trump's term? Can you rely on Mike Johnson to rise to the occasion now that he's got Trump providing him cover? Okay, will he be beholden to Trump? And so maybe he's an acceptable person because he's not old Mike Johnson, who was operating under Biden, who was being pushed around. Now he's got Trump, who can push him around and he can reform himself. Or is that just wishful thinking? So a lot of things to consider here. I think ultimately I would defer to Trump's requests and to Trump's demands personally. And I also know that Chip Roy and Thomas Massie were no fans of Trump at the very beginning. They were Ron DeSantis guys. And we have love for Ron DeSantis. We just think that they should have sat that one out and endorsed Trump from the beginning. So I'm also skeptical of that as well. I know there are times when politicians come out and they say, we're fiscal now. We're suddenly fiscal people and we're sick of Mike Johnson. Is that genuine? Probably. Is there another parallel motive for that? Maybe. So we keep watchful eye on this with our skepticism, but we want outcomes and we don't want to go through a bickering for several days where we end up with Mike Johnson anyways, okay? Because all that does is it impedes the narrative of a smooth transition. Republicans are in chaos. Remember what they did with H-1B? Caitlin Collins and the rest of them were going hyperventilation mode all over CNN. There's war, MAGA, civil war, constantly. Like, they love that. We want outcomes. We want results. And the Republicans better not squander this. All right, so my friends, we have covered some great stuff today. It's been a beautiful stream. If you're just joining us, Happy New Year! It's our first stream of the year, and I'm very grateful that you joined us as we unpacked the latest today. If you want to rewind, if you're joining us late, we talked about 3 good things today, 1 mournful thing. We talked about the New Year's Eve parties that were happening all over Mar-a-Lago and the rest of the country. Trump was there with Melania looking amazing. We had Elon having his head played as bongos by his son. We had an exchange with the president where he answered some questions, including about Speaker Johnson and other takes like the hostages and his wishes for all of us in the new year. Happiness, health, and wellness. Happy, healthy, and well, something like that, which was very apropos. We also then talked about the terror attack in New Orleans. We saw what the FBI had to say. We asked the question at the beginning, what is that flag? And it turns out it's an ISIS flag. And that was just breaking as we were here. So a couple new updates on this one. Let's see. Yep, he had an ISIS flag with him. There it is, confirmed. Wow, he also served in the Army for years, according to law enforcement. He had been out of the military for some time. 10 people dead, 35 injured. So horrific story. We covered a lot on that, including listening to the FBI people who said it wasn't terror before they said it was terror. And so a bunch there. We'll keep our eye on that one. See if there's any co-conspirators or if this guy was a lone wolf. We also looked at this smoldering Cybertruck that was on fire outside of Trump Hotel. And then lastly, we talked about the House of Representatives and this battle between Massie, Chip Roy, Mike Johnson, President Trump over the speakership. And the clock is ticking on that one. So we'll be back here tomorrow and Friday with some coverage on the House. We'll see what they're doing and whether we'll be closer to a speaker or not. But my friends, it's been a beautiful stream, and I want to apologize yesterday. I did not see the YouTube super chats. I don't know where my brain was. I apologize for that. I felt terrible that I did not get to those yesterday. And so those of you who sent those super chats in, we're definitely going to make those up today. My apologies for missing those. It'll never happen again, probably. Your boy sometimes brain turns into Joe Biden some days. It was a long year. You know, I blame it was a long year. But I want to start there. I want to say thank you to everybody who sent those donos in yesterday and who was supportive of our final show. We've got some great comments today, my friends. Of course, do want to remind you, we've got our inauguration watch party that is going on January 20th in Scottsdale, Arizona. This is an in-person event. Go to watcherlodge.com. watcherlodge.com and get your inauguration watch party tickets. Tickets are $100. It includes everything. Okay. It's going to include your food and your event. It's going to be on a big, beautiful screen. We're going to watch the president. We're going to mix and mingle. I'll be there. My fam, I think, will be there. And there should be also some amazing other guests and people joining us. Going to invite everyone I know. So it's going to be great. So come join us. Get your tickets, watcherlodge.com, watcherlodge.com. That way we do not miss you on Inauguration Day, because it's going to be fun. All right, my friends, thank you for sending in these donos today. K Bean, Carrie B, thank you for clipping for us today. You guys are amazing. Yesterday, I missed a couple very nice donos, more than a couple. Cha-Cha Dodds, what's up, Cha-Cha? Says, Rob, I absolutely love you like a son, and I appreciate all you do for freedom and justice. As a senior citizen, I can't afford a regular membership, but I want to give you a small token of my love. Cha-Cha, thank you for that. And I'm really sorry I missed that yesterday. You love me now like an unreliable son now, since I missed your super chat. But thank you for that, Cha-Cha. I really appreciate it. I love you back. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for supporting us when you can, and for being here with us. We had some other great donos and membos. Benjamin Lewis became a new membo yesterday. Rick D, thank you, Rick. Rick brought in 10 new membos. And so, my friends, you know who you are, who got those membos yesterday, courtesy of Rick D. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be back on the regular schedule. So we'll do a membo stream in the morning and then an evening stream where we'll hit all of the news. And it should be a lot busier tomorrow. So we'll be busy. Thank you, Rick, for the 10 membos. Teresa Wilkins, Happy New Year, Teresa. We have a baby. Oh my goodness. We have a baby together. Teresa, it's been a long time of support. Thank you so much for that. We love our new babies, and especially a New Year's baby. Hey, More Here is bringing in 5 more here. And my friends, thank you for joining us, courtesy of More Here. We'll see you on the Membo stream. More Here, thank you. Rick D says, Happy New Year to the whole Watcher family. Rick Donner, thank you, Rick. Here is hoping that 2025 is saner, safer, and happier. Yeah, I don't know. So far, I don't know that we're off to a great start on that one with the new terror attack, but we'll see. I'm just joking. I actually feel very optimistic about 2025. I think that we're going to enter another beautiful era in America. And those of you who've been around, you remember, right? Especially small business owners, okay, as I was and am. I remember the difference between the Trump era and the Biden era and Obama era. It was like, floodgates opened. So we're excited about it. Thank you, Rick D. Happy New Year. It's going to be an amazing year. And thanks for bringing in those membos. We had some others. Jason, Clean, Safe Energy, says, hey, I'm going to DC. I'd love to meet fellow watchers. Yeah, and it would be interesting too. So watchers going to DC. We could probably start a little thread on the lodge for something like that. It's an interesting idea, Jason. Thank you. Be safe over there. We're going to be doing our inauguration party on the West Coast. So if you're in Arizona. So if you can't go back east, come join us in Arizona, in Scottsdale, Arizona. It'll be warmer. It'll be warmer there. Thank you, Jason. Jennifer, one last super chat for the longest feeling year in history that actually flew by. Thank you, Jennifer, for sending that one in. It did feel like a long year. Do you think that 2024 felt like a longer year than maybe 2020 or 2021? Like those COVID years were rough. Kind of like block those out. Thank you, Jennifer. Really nice dono. Thanks for the one final dono on the last day of 2024. You're amazing. And Elf, thank you, Elf. ELF in the house as a membo with a fat dono. Thank you, Elf. Robert, mods, and chat, thank you for everything. Happy New Year. We got the best mods and the best chat and the best Elf in the house. Elf, thank you for that, man. Really generous. Happy New Year to you. I hope you celebrated wonderfully. And you're still ringing it in. Ollie, hey, see you all next year. Ollie, are you here? You better be here, buddy. I don't know if I see you yet. You better be here. All right, we'll see. Ollie, Happy New Year to you. Here was one from Don McGroarty. Don, 11 months as a membo, almost 1 year anniversary for us. Happy New Year, Robin, everyone. A beautiful dove flying through the air, a heart, and the word abundance. It's a good word for 2025. What's your word for 2025? I think our word should be justice. We'll see. Elf, what's up, Elf? Gifted 20 membos. Elf, super generous. Thank you, my man. 20 more people coming in, courtesy of Elf. Accountability, that's a good one. That's a good one. Accountability, right? retribution. We could have some good words here. Payback, revenge. We'll go with justice, because that's one's a little bit more palatable for a lot of people. Yeah, what's up? More here. Gifted 5 membos. Thank you for that. More here. Brian Bishop is also here. It's called Pierre Poliev. Poliev. I'm probably saying that wrong. I cannot pronounce this dude's name. I've tried like 15 times. It's wrong every time. I've tried every single permutation and it's wrong. Gonna need to get a calculator. Not Polivier. Not Polivier. It's Poliev. Poliev. Is that right? Poliev. All right. I'm going to call him Pierre. Toodles. Thank you, Brian. We've got this one from Jason. 7 months as a member. Clean Safe Energy says, I got my tickets to go to the inauguration in D.C. Amazing. You got tickets, man. Hard to get tickets to that. Hard to get tickets. Be safe, Jason. Have a ton of fun, man. Voice of the People was here yesterday. Says Ratskin is ranking member in judiciary. Yeah. These hearings are going to be so hard to get through. I know, man. I think we're planning on covering more of those. I think it'll be fun to do more of those live. But that's funny. From John Edwards. Yeah, Raskin. He's going to be tough. Who else is going to be on there? I mean, who are the Democrats going to be? Like Swalwell, Crockett. John Edwards. What's up, John? 10 months as a membo. Happy New Year, Robert and chat. Happy New Year, Robert and chat. Happy New Year, John Edwards. It's going to be great. Jerome Lambert, 9 months as a membo on the YouTubes. Thank you, Jerome. That's a full baby. It's a long time, man. Here's one. Voice of the People says long stream for Off-Label Podcast tonight. So check it out. Go check out Off-Label Podcast. Biggest stories of every month with guests coming in and out till the ball drops at midnight. That was yesterday. I hope it was an amazing stream, boys. Intellectual Iconoclasm says, but SolarWinds, which also interfaces with our nuke and SATCOM systems, was plugged the very next day, right? From Intellectual Iconoclasm. That we were talking about the Chinese hack of the Treasury yesterday and how they hack everything and nobody does anything about it. Yeah, I doubt it. Intellectual Iconoclasm. Hard to trust them for anything. More here. Brought in 5 more here. Thank you, More here, for doing that. Welcome, new friends. This one from Douglas McGregor and Scott Ritter for News on War from Ollie. Good recommendations. I definitely know McGregor. Ollie brought in 1 new membo yesterday. Thank you, Ollie. Patrick H became a new membo. Thank you, Patrick. CA Human, 9 months as a membo, says it's time. Thank you for an amazing 2024. We got a new baby, CA Human. Thank you for that, for being with us for 9 months, full term. Mark Nielsen, 10 months as a membo. Happy New Year to all the watchers. Thanks, Rob. Thank you, Mark. Thanks for supporting us for 10 months, man. I do appreciate that. RoboCat, you too, says membo for 2 months. Tyler, rest in peace. 15-year-old cat to cancer on Sunday. Lost 15-year-old cat, Tyler. Man, sorry about that, RoboCat. But I'm thinking about RoboCat. Anyways, all right. So rest in peace to Tyler. I am sorry to hear that. It's really tough to lose a pet. We had a couple friends on locals too, had to lose some pets, and it's a terrible thing. So thank you for those, my friends. Those all came in yesterday. Again, my apologies for missing those. It was not intentional at all. I did not have to race to the restroom. I was not like starving or anything. I don't have a good excuse. I was just a doofus. That's it. And I finished the show. I was very upset with myself, but I do want to thank you. So thanks for sending those in. Happy New Year to my friends. Those were from yesterday. Today, we had some other ones come in. Going South. What's up, Going South? Says we opted for the exploding cars instead. Like the Cybertruck in the house, Going South. Glocky says it's now official. The terrorist name was released and he's ISIS. Something Dim Jabbar was his name. Samsu Dim Jabbar. ISIS came ready for battle, he says. He's decked out in a multicam. He was wearing a chest rig and other things. You can still see the mag on the side of the blouse. They didn't cut it off. So some, gruesome photos that we won't show on the screen here, but you can go check those out. Glocky says, Inspector General, 3 DOJ employees leaked info to hurt Trump before the election. Well, they should be prosecuted for election interference in a RICO case. Thank you, Glocky. Also shared that link to the Inspector General link. So that's from Breitbart. Man, maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. It's a good one, Glocky. Thank you for that. Zone Girl says, is not Kamala Harris the one who counts the votes just as Mike Pence did? So what is the problem without a speaker? Well, the Electoral Count Act was passed after Mike Pence, so Kamala's role is a lot more ceremonial than Mike Pence was. It's a different format now. Has a lot less discretion, but basically she's just like opening and ascertaining, essentially. But the speaker needs to call it into session, and like they run the House. So I don't think they can actually open the sessions and stuff without a speaker. So it's a speaker first, then they open the session for the process of counting the votes. I think that's how it works, but I'm not positive. Steph D, what's up? 10 months as a member. We were in NOLA for Thanksgiving. This is terrible. Yeah, it is terrible. Thank you, Steph, for being here for 10 months. Prayers for our friends in NOLA, New Orleans. Knox is here. Happy Wednesday, all. Says, DJT looks rested and Melania has never looked more fabulous. Says, counting the days, my friends. So are we, Knox. We should have a countdown timer. Just running constantly. It's going to be great. Thank you, Knox. Hey, the RP Games. Thank you for becoming a supporter of the RP Games. We'll see you tomorrow on the members-only morning stream. Leonard is here. I have never heard anyone in the corrupt media point out how easily Trump rapidly and fluently answers a wide variety of questions. Yeah, he's good at it. He runs the line. Doesn't get any credit for that. They still somehow, I think less and less, they're calling, like he's like a clown or a dummy. That's less and less the case. A lot of people, even those Europeans that we were playing the clip of here, we're like, yeah, Trump was right. We should have been spending more on our defense. Maybe we could have pushed back Russia, but Trump had to prove him wrong. They had to learn the lesson the hard way. NY says, Anderson is a sad sack. He's always been that way. Anderson was extra depressed. I'm going to be fired. Let's take some more alcohol. Voice of the People says, all the buildings are built to be a lightning rod for a reason. It's human design, not God. No, but this time it was God, though, because it's cooler that way. Cindy Jensen, what's up? Welcome to be our newest supporter, Cindy Jensen. Thanks for supporting us. We'll see you tomorrow on the morning stream. Voice of the People says, I'm not ready for the stupidity that's going to happen this year, but I'm ready to step up to the plate to laugh at it. Let's start this year off right. There's going to be a lot to laugh at. It's going to be a great year. This old guy says, Whitney Cummings, outstanding. Just outstanding. It's right. It was great. She just came out and just let it all out. Hey, we got Not a Fed says, great. Now Biden and Pelosi are going to want another $500 billion to fix the Capitol dome and a Washington monument to protect them from MAGA lightning. Yeah, Trump is responsible for this climate change. He's insurrecting federal buildings with his lightning. He should be indicted for it immediately. Rick Donner says a Tesla Cybertruck was also on fire in front of the Trump Tower in Las Vegas. It's true. Wild scene there. NY says people like signs. The sign is Trump won. Daddy's home. The only briefs Biden is dealing with are him and his extra large Depends because Dr. Jill made him change out of those because he stunk. You got to change them. Ravicus, what's up? Says an older article from December 2016, Tulsi was fighting the deep state even back then. This is from some sort of strategy piece from Tulsi Gabbard. Thank you for that. That came in from Ravicus. Thank you, Ravicus. She's been around for a while. NY says, aren't we glad that the grandma police chief isn't running the investigation? Yeah, I don't know who, or in favor of what, the FBI agent? I don't know about that either. Kind of torn both ways. NY says, basically saying it's not terrorism. Enjoy yourself while we clean the blood off the streets. Get out there and have fun, okay? We just don't come over here because there's guts all over the... it's too soon. Glocky shared this. Some other potential videos of the shooter. Don't know about that. Voice of the People. It might be. I don't know yet. Elon's Cybertruck explodes at the main entrance at Trump Tower. Voice of the People says, this was a message. It certainly feels that way, right? Certainly feels that way. Little too coincidental for it to be a coincidence. Elon was literally at Mar-a-Lago hanging out with Trump. Art Pollard says, we need to pass laws to ban assault vehicles now. Yeah, and exploding vehicles too. Should all be banned. I mean, it should be illegal. How come you can light fires on vehicles in front of hotels? Chris Solitary 1, 12 months. Happy anniversary, Chris. Happy New Year, watchers. Happy New Year to you, Chris. Solitary 1, 12 months as a member. Thanks for supporting us for a full year, Chris. We appreciate it. This old guy says, Biden wanders over to the press and says, there was an attack? First I've heard about it. So should I get on the plane now? Pretty much. You got my statement. I don't know what I wrote in it or what they wrote for me, but you got it. Alice Elizabeth. Thank you, Alice Elizabeth. Happy New Year, all. In Wisconsin, you have to kiss as many people as possible at midnight. I kissed about 35 people last night, young and old boys and girls. Wow, Alice. That's a lot. That's a lot of kissing. I don't know what's going on up there in Wisconsin. Sounds wild, though. Hey, NY says, I respect Massie, but vacate the chair after Trump is inaugurated. You only give power to the Democrats and dangerously give them a chance to pull 14th Amendment garbage. Right? That's kind of what I'm saying. What are the potential difficulties that we might run into? Zoji, thank you, Zoji. And these Diamond Membos, man, been on Locals for a full year. Thank you to the Diamond Membos. Zoji says, Happy New Year to you, Rob, your personal family, and our Watching the Watchers family. Thank you for that, Zoji. I appreciate that. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. I don't distinguish them, quite that way. I don't think. But I understand what you're saying. It's like one big family, Hey, NY says Gates can still be seated. His dirt is already released. He can be seated and vote to certify Trump's election. From NY. This old guy says, well, folks, I'm sure Hakeem Jeffries is electable. Sheesh. Yeah, you might get some Republicans who maybe flip over and vote for the Dems. NY says, Rob, not a fan of what Johnson did, but before him becoming speaker, he was solid. Perhaps it's more the realities of the position. Yeah, and he was in a very precarious position. He had the Democrats in the House. He had the Democrats in the Senate. Andy McCabe is another report that says that Andy McCabe, that FBI guy, targeted Trump after the Comey firing. Another article over there from Breitbart, which looks like a good one. Hey, Knox is here. Says this current administration is determined to trash the hotel room before they check out, aren't they? Yes. So Knox is sharing this other link. They're going to 20-year ban on Nevada oil and gas. Yeah. They're ransacking the Treasury. They're spending all the capital, so he has no operating capital as soon as he comes in. They're, dumping money into Ukraine, $6 billion at the last minute. It's sick what they're doing. It's borderline treason. Spud says, Rob, the biggest criticism by both sides of the aisle is that leadership in both houses are run by old white men. I agree that someone like Byron, who is wise beyond his years, is a good candidate, especially if Trump wants a biglier tent party to lead MAGA into the future. Yeah, and I don't even know if it's just like old Republicans. It's like not even really white or women. It's just like old Republican mindset that you just have to go through the hierarchy in order to get a position of power. Sweet Potato, Happy New Year, says two papas like two fathers in the house. Sweet Potato in the house. I'm not exactly sure what you're referencing, or maybe it's something I said, two papas. Real Life says Membo for 16 months. Says we made it. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year to you, Real Life. Thanks for being here for 16 months. That's almost 2 full babies. We're grateful for you. We've got this one from Jason Clean Safe Energy. Says, I'm going to the DC for inauguration. I'm very excited. Got my ticket from my congressman's office, which is how you got to get them. I would love to meet up with other watchers that would go there. Go Watchers. And I don't know if many people are going. I know I've heard from some people in our community that they are working on tickets, but I don't know if they've actually achieved those tickets yet. But that would be great, man. I'd love for you guys to meet up and hang. Hey, Glocky says, it's Fort Hood all over again. They're going to try to cover this up like they did Fort Hood. Yeah, another Army COC with extremist Islamist views, says Jack Posobiec. More explosives reportedly being found from the FBI. We got Not a Fed says Joe Biden's word for 2025 is don't. Yeah, that didn't work out for him in 2024 either. Londo says, okay, I'll chip in. Membership re-up. Thank you, Londo. 12 months in the can. Thank you, Londo. It's going to be a great new year, man. We're going to have some great content, some great members-only streams, and we're going to get even deeper in our community. Yoni, full of faith, says, future looks bright. Thank you, Father. Election. From Yoni, full of faith. Thank you, Yoni, for the dono. And I think you're right about that. Ravicus says, Rob, this is what I wanted you to see in the article. In November 2015, Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard in the committee led a bill to stop the abuse of the CIA taxpayer funds of Al-Qaeda and Syria. Unfortunately, it was blocked, but after recent deaths of 3 special forces assigned to train jihadists in Jordan, perhaps it's time to revisit a similar bill and stop this madness. Sounds like there were fireworks in the Cybertruck, says Rick D. Sweet says, oh, 2 papas, like you had 2 fathers over for your New Year's. Like you were going to propose? Oh, it's not funny if you have to explain it, LOL. Oh, well, we did. Yeah, we had my family and Alexis's family. So there were 2 papas in the house. I was thinking like potatoes or something for some reason. Yeah, we had our families over. They were here. Thank you for that, Sweet. Thank you. Not a Fed says, we need to meet up at the Capitol on January 6th and go into the Capitol. Not a Fed. Not a Fed. From Not a Fed. And Philip Butler says, Happy New Year. You were too nice to be a good lawyer. I am too nice to be a good lawyer, says Philip Butler. Well, that's one take on it. Thank you, Philip, for your position on it. But my friends, I appreciate all those donos in the house. Thanks for supporting our work, and thanks for being here on the very first day of the new year. I'm excited for everything that is coming very soon. Let's say hello to our friends on X, and then we're going to wrap it up and go over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com for our members only after party. What's up, Fred? What's up, Jay Howard? Hey, Russell's over there. Says, what's up, Rob? Love your show. Thank you, Russell. Jay Howard, what's up, Jay Howard? Sawblade is over there talking about the trucks. And Fred says, yep, it was ISIS. And so a couple great comments on X. Thanks for following us over there. Here's what the account looks like. And thanks for following other watchers at Rob Govea ESQ. Find other watchers out there on the X Wilderness, and we can continue to connect over there. But my friends, it has been a beautiful day and an amazing stream. I want to thank our incredible mods who mod down the fort for us and keep things nice and orderly. And I think we had a couple donos from CF Rob also on Rumble. Rob says, put Mike Johnson, get Congress sworn in, get Trump inaugurated, then do a no confidence vote on Johnson the first time that he jacks with the House again, from CF Rob on Rumble. Thank you, CF Rob. Another one from CF Rob says, Robert Hunter Govea got Coke? Robert, were you in the library in the White House with the Coke, or was it, well, these are weird comments from Rob. Says, Trump does Coke in the White House. Diet Coke. All right, from Rob. Interesting comments. Thank you for the donos, Rob. All right, so, my friends, we're going to leave it there. We're going to go over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com. We're going to say what's up to our Watcher on Locals fam, and then we're going to wrap it up on the day. Tomorrow, we'll be back to get into it again. And of course, we'd love to see you there. I want to thank the mods and the meme smiths who mod the fort for us, mod the fort down for us. K-Bean, Donut, Carrie B, Playing Hooky, Dog Digger, and Janik, of course, keeping things nice and orderly all over the place. Don't forget to get your tickets to the inauguration event at watcherlodge.com. If you're in Arizona or want to come out on the West Coast, it's going to be a ton of fun. Great venue. Going to be some good food, and of course, a historic day for all of us to be a part of. So come check it out, watcherlodge.com. It'll take you right there. Grab a ticket. And if you're looking for 2 tickets, just have people sign up. So somebody else can create a profile for them. You create a profile for yourself and just grab tickets. $100 covers the event, the venue, the food, and the fun. It's all going to be there. So come check it out, watcherlodge.com. My friends, thank you for being here on the very first day of 2025. It's going to be a beautiful year, and I am excited to go through it with you. I appreciate all your support. I want to Thank you for all your support in 2024. Couldn't do any of this without you. I'm grateful for you. And we're just getting started. 2025 is going to be lit, my friends, and I'm grateful to be going through it with you. So thanks for being here. We're coming back tomorrow to get into it again. And in order to do it appropriately, we're going to need to see you right back here so that together, with your help, we can shine that big, beautiful spotlight of accountability and transparency down upon our system with the hope of finding justice. Make it a beautiful night, my friends. Sleep very well. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.